Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. So today I actually got a story time for you guys, and I actually have not done a story time for a pretty long time. I'd say that most of you guys that are subscribed to me now were not subscribed to me last time I did a story time video. That's how long it's actually been. I'd say probably at least 6 months or so. So this probably happened to me, I'd say about 2 months ago or something like that, and I actually meant to make a video right when it happened, but honestly I just kind of forgot and things kind of just got ahead of me and I started doing other things. But recently I thought, you know what, let me tell this story, especially because it seems like you guys really used to enjoy my storytime videos. So like I said, this actually happened to me like 2 months ago or something like that, and let me give you guys a little bit of background. So I actually live in an apartment complex, and if you guys live in an apartment complex, you guys know that you have specific spots for what apartment you live in. So when you first get your apartment, they'll tell you, hey, this is your spot, that's the spot that you have to park in, and it's usually numbered. For some reason, when I moved into my apartment complex, we got some of the few spots that weren't numbered. They actually had letters on them, and they're really close to the street and uncovered, and they actually look like visitor parking. And so because of that, I have a lot of problems with people actually parking in my spot, and that's kind of how this story starts. So the day started off normal, and I actually had my second job that I had to go to, which is my morning job. So I was coming home back around 1:30, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and I come pulling up and I see that someone is in my spot, and it's actually a car that has been in my spot before, that I've already left a note on their car telling them that it's my spot and asking them to please get out of my spot. It is this gold color, like mid 2000s Impala. So at this point, I'm pretty irritated because I've already, like I said, left a note on this car telling them that they cannot park in this spot. And you guys have to think about it from my perspective. At the moment, I work 50 plus hours a week because I have 2 jobs, because I'm in debt because of what happened the last couple months in the world. Obviously, I can't say it because of the YouTube rules. So I'm working 50 plus hours a week at the moment, and I just want to come home and park in my spot without having someone be there. So I'm really irritated at this point. And I start walking back to my apartment, but as I'm walking back to my apartment, I see this group of people walking kind of towards the Impala, and I stop them and I say, hey, is that your car? And they look at me and say, yeah, and I'm like, well, that needs to get the fuck out of my spot. And I'm instantly talking to them in kind of an angry tone and telling them to get out of my spot, not asking them, because like I said, I've already left a note on their car. I've already asked them to leave my spot. They continue to park there, so now I'm telling them to leave my spot. I'm no longer asking them. And I'm telling them like, hey, I've already left a note on your car. You guys need to get out of my spot. Like, I'm not here to talk to you guys about it. And they're kind of arguing with me like they don't really need to get out of my spot. For some reason, they thought they didn't need to get out of my spot. And then the dude that's with them goes, dude, your car is never here. And I look at him and I'm like, bro, I work all day. My car might not be here during the day very often, but it's here. This is my spot. Like, I want to come home and park in my spot before I have to go back to work. And they continue to argue with me, and I look at the dude and I say, hey bro, do you want me to beat your ass right here, right now, or are you gonna get out of my fucking spot? And eventually they just got in their car and left. And I thought that was the end of the altercation, but apparently not. Now, obviously, I didn't actually want to fight the guy over a stupid parking spot, but in the moment and the way they were arguing with me, yeah, I was willing to fight him over that parking spot. That was not a joke. But apparently, after I made that threat, I guess you could say, he had different plans, and I'd find out about those plans in the next couple of weeks. So I guess maybe a month or so goes by, and at this point I had completely forgotten about this argument that me and this dude had. I hadn't seen them, and they hadn't been parking in my spot. I thought things were over, and I thought I was just going to be able to continue on with my life. I was not worried about it at all. Except for one day I come pulling into my spot, and they come pulling in right behind me. Now, I don't think they were following me. I think it just so happened to be that I pulled in right before them. As I was getting out of my car though, I look into their car and me and the dude make eye contact, and he mouths the word bitch to me. And I honestly just laugh it off because it literally means nothing to me. I have my spot back, which is really all I cared about in the first place. And I start walking to my apartment and I'm looking over at them and smiling. And he gets out of the car and he's like, you want to say something? Do you have something to say? And I'm like, nah, bro, like, I'm just coming back from home from work. Like, I'm not even mad about it no more. You're not in my spot. I honestly don't care anymore. But all of a sudden, he seemed to have this weird confidence that he didn't have the first time me and him were talking about the parking spot, and I should have noticed that as a red flag in the first place. But the first thing that I noticed was that he had way more people with him that he had the first time me and him got in the argument about the parking spot. The first time me and him were arguing about the parking spot, it was just him, his mom, and his girlfriend, or at least I'm assuming that's who they were. Now he had like 4, 5, or 6 people with him. I honestly don't remember exactly. I wasn't that focused on them. But he just continued to talk about wanting to fight me, this and that, and I just kept standing there like, dude, I was mad a month ago about the situation, but I dead ass do not care anymore. Like, I'm not upset. In fact, I work in 30 minutes and I'd like to just go inside and get ready for work. And at this point, him and his girlfriend are like in my face yelling at me, and I'm still just like, bro, I don't give a fuck. Like, I really truly do not care anymore. Leave me alone. And then his mom comes and joins in. So then there's 3 people now yelling in my face, plus whoever else he has with him, just kind of standing back by the car. And the exact words that were said that kind of raised the situation to be a bigger thing than it needed to be was, his mom told me that my mom raised a bitch, and I found that funny. I was like, nah, you are the bitch, you know what I'm saying? Like, don't talk about my mom like that. And then he gets all mad, gets all big chest, all puffed out, like, what'd you call my mom? What'd you call my mom? And I was like, yeah, you heard me. Your mom's a bitch. And this is when he goes back and pops the trunk of his mom's Impala, by the way, his mom's Impala, and grabs out a rifle. And at this point, I'm still talking shit, because at this point now I'm mad. I was really calm up until this point, up until his mom wanted to say something about my mom. So now I'm mad, he's mad, everyone's yelling at each other. He goes and grabs the gun, and I'm like, oh, what are you gonna do? Shoot me? Bet you're not, right? He comes running up to me and tries to hit me with the butt of the gun. And I kind of like back up and move over to the left, and he completely misses me, but I'm completely like kind of pushed up against the apartment a little bit, like a little bit in the bushes, and just trying to maneuver around him. I'm not running away, but I'm like slowly backing up. But at this point, I'm still running my mouth. I have not stopped talking at all. Then he goes to hit me again, and I kind of like duck down, and he hits me on my back with the butt of the gun. I think he was aiming for the head, but honest to God, he was really bad at trying to hit me with it. Like, he was absolutely terrible. At this point, I had been slowly backing up the entire time. I had never like ran away. I had never turned my back to them, but I was slowly backing up the entire time, just trying to get closer to my apartment. Now, like I said earlier in the story, I was willing to fight this guy over the parking spot at some point, but I was not even close to being this upset about the situation. And at this point, I have 2 thoughts in my mind. Either this guy is way more mad about this situation than me, or these are a bunch of crackheads, and I'm pretty sure they are just a bunch of crackheads, because they looked like it, and my city is known for having crackheads all over the place, especially the side of the city that I live on. So I'm just thinking in my mind like, oh, these are crackheads, like these motherfuckers got nothing to lose. I'm trying to get out of here, you know what I'm saying? So like I said, at this point, I had backed up as much as I could. And I'm basically backed up into the stairwell of my apartment. Like, I'm halfway down the last section of the stairs. And the way my apartment works is if you're on the bottom floor, you actually have to go down the stairs to get to the bottom floor. And then there's the 2 bottom floor apartments right there. So I'm like halfway down the last flight of stairs, and they had all like kind of followed me there, and they were like grouping around me, you know what I'm saying? And I'm standing there and I am still running my mouth. Like, at this point, I have not stopped running my mouth. But like I said, I'm kind of like down the stairs and they're up the stairs. So at this point, they're above me. Like, I was probably taller than all of them. I was certainly the biggest one in this situation, which is why I'm sure they felt the need to group up on me the way that they did. And I was also taller than all of them. But with me being halfway down the stairs, they're all above me now. So they're all, way taller than me. And his mom actually kicks me straight in the middle of my sternum, like as hard as she can. Now, honestly, it did not hurt me at all, but it stunned me very well. And it completely made me quit talking. I went from running my mouth to completely just not talking. And I think I just said, what the fuck? And at that point, I literally turned around. I made one more threat that I actually cannot say on YouTube, and then I had walked into my apartment complex, and I just kind of didn't know what to do. They actually, I think 10 minutes or so later, started knocking on my apartment complex. He had went and gotten a couple of friends, felt like a big boy, and started knocking on my door. I actually did not answer the door for them because I had work, like I said, in 30 minutes, and I needed to figure out exactly what I was supposed to do. I ended up calling my work and asking them what they wanted me to do, and they told me that they just wanted me to kind of wait it out and see what happened. So I ended up just going to work a little bit late that day. And in case you guys were wondering, no, I did not call the police on them, simply because I just didn't feel like I needed to call the police on them. Yeah, I guess they technically did assault me with a deadly weapon, but it wasn't all that. They were clearly scared of me, otherwise they would not have grouped up on me the way that they did. Now, what I think happened was, after I originally threatened to fight the dude, he probably felt scared or, actually threatened, and when they got into the car and left, he probably decided that next time his mom, or every single time his mom was going to drop him off at this apartment complex, he was going to bring the gun in the trunk, specifically for if they saw me. So clearly he was very upset about the original fight that I guess we got into. After the situation, I have seen him a couple of times actually, and nothing has happened. In fact, me and him actually kind of almost got into another altercation over the parking spot. At this point, I actually had my own weapon on me and nothing actually came about this time, so that's good, I guess you could say. But yeah, this video is pretty long, so I'm gonna end it here. If you guys did enjoy this story and you guys want to hear more, definitely drop that like, and if you're new, definitely drop that sub button. And yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, and hopefully I do see you guys in the next one. Peace.